I had to pick one word to describe BridgeWorks, I would say seamless, but there are lots of other words I would use also to describe them. From the moment I made my first initial contact to our first meeting, him displaying the other projects that he had done, he was professional, he was courteous, he was timely. The entire construction schedule was, if anything, finished earlier than I expected. I didn't have to do anything. Previous experience with another contractor, I had to be present for inspections because inspections had been failed. I didn't have to do anything. I just said, this is what I want, and that's what BridgeWorks gave me. My name's Mary Trahar. My practice is Trahar Orthodontics. Sometimes we call it Smiles by the Bay. I've had my own practice for 10 years. Prior to that, I worked for someone else for a few years in Washington, D.C. I knew I wanted to be a dentist when I finished dental school. I went in the Air Force, and in the Air Force, I had an opportunity to go a little more in depth in different specialties, and I just fell in love with orthodontics. I chose BridgeWorks Construction because my Patterson rep recommended them. I've had experience with 2 other contractors in my previous location, not all of which was the most pleasant, and I think my Patterson rep understood what my needs were, and he recommended Paul and BridgeWorks. Everything was made incredibly easy. So I had some complications with funding and how we could be creative in doing all of that through Patterson and through Wells Fargo, and BridgeWorks was accommodating to our creative finance processing. I love my office space. I love its layout, I love its color, its design. It's very similar to my own home, which is something that I wanted, and that's something that all my new patients coming in say. They go, oh, I wish my home looked like this. I have 2 favorite parts of my office, not just one. They're design elements that I really wanted to have in place, and that was shiplap and barn doors. So that's my favorite part. The function of this office is perfect. It's exactly the flow, the style that we need. Our Annapolis office, although about the same square footage of this, is not laid out as comfortably. This is easy to use. It was planned very nicely, so not a single complaint. They met all of my needs. I just sat down with Paul, gave him a clear picture of what my goals were, how I wanted the space to look and flow, and they did it. I did have a 3D rendering that I saw online, and I also had a designer that helped me with color selections, and she was wonderful, sitting down with me, going through everything, helping me. I'd give a basic color, and then she gave me a complementary color. She worked very closely with them. So again, she and I made a decision, she passed it on to BridgeWorks, and it was done. I found it very helpful to just be able to text if I had a question or a concern, and I got a text back, and it was just like talking to a friend. We had a couple little changes that I wanted, like a light switch. And again, I just shot a text, I sent a picture, and that week someone was out and fixed it for me. So, just seamless. I think that BridgeWorks was exceptional in planning and executing my space, for sure. It was very important, and I had used dental contractors before. I think for planning, your plumbing, your electrical, your compressor, there's so much detail involved that I think it takes someone who's in the industry to understand it, particularly that compressor closet, understanding how to soundproof it, make it comfortable for everyone. I joke to myself, at least, that I had the 3 Ps with BridgeWorks. I had Paul, Pat, and Patty, and they were my teammates. And again, they just made this a very pleasant experience. I would use them again in a heartbeat.